your choices of career will determine your employability or your entrepreneurial ability. They are not very different. Most people believe that the skill set for an entrepreneur and the skill set for an employee is very, very different. If you can't create business for your employer is not going to keep you. The interesting part is 90% of the people who graduate out of IIMs, they don't succeed becoming the CXOs, 90% of them. Why? Will the older jobs be there? The answer is no. Banking 4.0 will simply mean banking anywhere, everywhere, the way you want to, and every institution will be a bank. So this gentleman needs 500 rupees, this gentleman needs 5,000 rupees, he needs it at 12 in the night, he needs it at 6 in the morning. There will be a vendor who is willing to lend you at a particular rate of interest, for a particular period, for particular terms. The more hungry you are, the more ambitious you are, the more you will drive, the more you will practice, and that will deliver confidence.
So, Namaste, welcome all. मेरा नाम सात्विक जाजू है and welcome to Anvikshiki विचार मंच July edition. And today we have Siddhartha Rastogi ji with us. So please give it to him, guys. As you can see, आज एक special event है. G20 का एक official youth engagement group है जिसका नाम है Youth 20. Short में उसको Y20 कहते हैं. उसका आज एक event है. So we are very thankful to them for allowing us to give this platform to engage all of you here. So आज सिद्धार्थ जी हैं हमारे साथ. मैं उनका एक छोटा सा इंट्रोडक्शन दे देता हूँ. ये छोटा है, माइंड यू, ओके. सिद्धार्थ जी इज़ अ CEO एंड MD एट अ फुल सर्विस इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंक. इसके अलावा ही लव्स टू बी अ प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग लाइफ कोच ऑफ young people like us. He's always ready to, come to us with all the kinds of, the problems that we youth face in today's life, in today's continuously changing world scenarios, especially geopolitically, economically, and especially अभी AI के वजह से जो एक uncertainty create हुई है job market में. So इसलिए आज का जो topic है उसी के around centered है. He also is an avid swimmer. So if anyone loves swimming, you can always talk to him about that. He's trying to always inspire the youth, and that's why I insisted him to come today for this topic, which is the tomorrow skills for tomorrow or tomorrow-proof skills. And then the second part of the topic comes in: can strong democracy emerge from weak minds? So let's move on to that first part. Everyone has only one question in their minds right now: how is AI going to change the job market in coming years?
So, first thing, do you guys understand what is AI? Artificial intelligence, machine learning. Very, very simplistically, whatever is your behavior till now is not being observed or read, is now being observed and read. So today, the way you will behave, maybe I can only see. But if you're on the camera, then a machine learning tool will read that some gentleman is putting his hand here, so he is listening attentively, somebody is scratching the head, which means he's bored. That's what is AI or machine learning, which means they are trying to figure out how you behave, how you react to situations. Okay, that's a very, very simplistic definition. What is your biases, what are your belief systems, what are your behavior, everything about you. So they are trying to create a you without taking input from you. They are taking you from your subconscious actions. When we scratch our nose, it's a subconscious action. AI is seeing even that. So let me, before I move on to the job market, let me first talk about what are the levels of AI. There are 4 categories in which AI is segregated. Number 1, AI, the first, which is the basic type. When you go on any of the web marketing sites, whether it is Flipkart, whether it is Amazon, whether it is Google or anything, you type in your preferences. That is input-based intelligence. I want to search for a blue shirt, buttoned collar, and which is slim fit. The output will come. Now you are not interested because your mother calls. You have so many shirts, why you want to buy it? You switch it off, the website. The snail keeps on following you. You open another website, the same blue shirt will pop up. That's the first level of AI, which is basic. It is tracking your preferences, what you have keyed in. You're there with me on this? This is basically known as cookies. In most websites, you see accept cookies or don't accept cookies. So this is what it is. When you accept cookies, that website will start following you, even if you have closed it. Clear? Second level of AI. The second level of AI is the limited intelligence-based AI. What does that mean? The machine gets intelligent as you keep giving more data. You have heard of autopilot. So I'm assuming most of you would have sometime traveled in airplane. In the airplane, do you think the pilot constantly has his hands on the steering? Unlike in a car where you're constantly holding the steering. Some people may do some adventure, but that's apart. But that not holding the steering is autopilot, which means the more data the machine gets, it becomes more and more intelligent. Another example of it is self-driving cars. If I put the self-driving car here in this room, it will start banging because it would only have a picturization of this. But if I click the pictures, if I take the car after the steering and take it through the stairs down and then take it through, then all the cameras which are fitted in the self-driving car will also start giving inputs to the car. You understood? So it becomes much more intelligent as more input keeps coming in. You're there with me? The third level of AI which you just now saw, ChatGPT. That is the theory of mind. What does this mean? It tries and predicts the collective behavior of people. Which means, tomorrow Satvik, as well as all of you, what you are thinking, if all your data is fed in together, and a heterogeneous group of several people, this data, rest of the other people, everybody put together, more and more data, basis that they will try and optimize the results. You understand? More and more behavior of several lakhs, millions, billions of people and their behavior. That's what is going to determine the outcome. That's the third level. The fourth...
Is there any example to...
So ChatGPT is one of the closest examples. Now in ChatGPT, if you write, I want to talk about vibrant democracy, it will first search your profile, whether you are a leftist, you are a rightist, you are a center. You understand the difference. If you are a student, because it will take the data from the Google, whether you are studying in which college. It will start picking up notes from all the students who would have submitted on this topic. Based on your profile, they will give an output. You understand? So what it is taking into account, your input, rest of all the people who have ever written about vibrant democracy, and they will try and give an output. So this is the third level, which means this level, the key is the specificity of data and large quantum, gigabytes, terabytes of data of everyone. And this is what is gonna be, what is hurting, what people believe will hurt the future. Now, 3-4 other examples which have emerged in the recent times. So there was a radio show in London where it was hosted by a robo or a humanoid. So there was no radio jockey. A humanoid played the songs, asked the questions, and constantly played the songs. But coming to the question, is it a threat? Now, think about it. Would you only want to listen to the music when you listen to the radio? What do you want? Interaction. Am I right? You want certain interaction with the RJ. You want Q&A, you want his perspective. This gentleman's question versus this gentleman's question, it may vary. Now, humanoid will try and give the most appropriate answer depending on the question in its collective wisdom, which is there as the data. May or may not be totally appropriate. You're there with me on this? Also, it will have a sequencing of the songs. So it will pick up keywords and keep. So if I say that give me a song of Barish, so it will figure out which is the highest playing song of Barish, whilst what people like in that genre may be totally different. Sometimes when you're interacting with a RJ, the person who's talking on the other side gets angry. How does RJ handle that? Humanoid does not know. Because humanoid does not know what is the difference between an anger, an ego, a self-awareness, a calmness. So those subconscious human emotions are not known. So that's a third level which is there. Another interesting thing somebody was the other day talking about is service. So service-oriented roles, you understand what is service-oriented roles, right? So service-oriented roles, they may become history. That's what people are saying. Because where there is continuity, where there is mundaneness, where there is no innovation, where there is constant single floor approach, which means that one floor, then second floor, then third floor. So it's a constant journey, one after the other. Then it may get replaced. Number 4 type of intelligence, which still nobody has worked upon, is the self-awareness AI. Which means Siddhartha Rastogi will behave in a different manner in a single situation, while Satvik will react in a different situation. Collective wisdom of millions of people, having different perception and different thought process of the same equation, is known as self-awareness, and that's what AI has yet to come. So these are the 4 levels. Now coming back to the Satvik's question, so will it impact the job market? You guys remember when the smartphone came? You guys may not remember, but 40 years back, there was no telephone, as in the landline used to come, and India saw a very significant revolution. From landlines, we straight jumped to the smartphones, or we moved to the mobile phones. We skipped the entire evolution. So we are unique in our sense. Did anything change? So the point I'm trying to make here is very, very simple. When anything changes in the workplace, humans adapt and adopt. Humans adapt and adopt. That's the beauty of being a human. People thought that phone, by the way, the smartphones which all of you are using today, has removed 38 businesses. From a watch to a video recorder to a camera to several things. Does that mean those companies have become history? Kodak has become history. People didn't learn new skills? The answer is no. So ultimately what boils down is anything which is mundane is going to become history. If you don't innovate, you will become history. And you guys are a bunch of young people. You are barely in your 20s, early 20s, right? Between 20 to 25. So there is a huge possibility of you adopting the future. Because this is a generation which is born with a smartphone. You guys are millennials. So your adaptability to anything which is new is very, very high. There is no resistance. So jobs are going to change. Will they vanish? The answer is no.
True, because the way you said cameras, yeah, we don't have the film roll cameras or digital cameras as such, but now the smartphone companies are building such high quality cameras, collaborating with the Hasselblads and Sonys, and even they are the DSLR technology has gone to the mirrorless, and the innovation is just inspiring so many people now. And I think that race in quality and competition has also got the cost down because a lot more people are now having access to that. So we are always talking about AI, but AI is not the only threat or one of the new streams that can change how the job market is. Because now there is blockchain, now there is Web3, banking 3.0, Industry 4.0 has already come. So how does all this encompass, and also how these things, along with AI, help us build the new age businesses also? So it's one side is job, but also there is businesses.
So what is going to happen in the future is very, very simple. Traditional businesses are going to vanish. Everybody understands banking different levels, right? What was banking 1.0? Banking 1.0 was when you will go to the branch, you'll withdraw the cash, you'll deposit the cash, you'll issue the checks, etc., etc. So you'll go to a physical establishment, you'll go to a shop, you will do the transactions, and you will get into the clearing system. It will take days, etc., etc., etc. So that was banking 1.0. Second level of banking came in, banking 2.0, when it was self-service. So kiosks were created, ATMs were created. Banking 3.0, which is the current banking system, which we are seeing, it is where you don't have to even go to an ATM, you don't have to go to a branch, the bank comes to you. Everything is being done by you. In some of the banks already we are witnessing very interesting concept. If your balance is reduced, there is a pop-up. Sir, do you want to take a loan? Instant loan for 15 days, instant loan for 20 days. What is happening is they have your data of the bank account. You already always maintain certain balances. Your balances have dipped. And this is unusual. So automatically AI is predicting that this is what you should, this is a product which is suitable for you. That is the banking 3.0. Banking 4.0 will be a different ball game altogether. Some of you may be feeling, is it relevant from your perspective? The reason it is relevant because in your careers, the kind of jobs you will seek for will make a difference after 10 years. Because as I mentioned, you guys are between 20 to 25, which means you have another 35 years of work life in front of you, at least, if not more. And if you don't make smart choices today on your careers, jobs are going to be there. Jobs are going to be there, umpteen. Quality jobs are going to be there. Will the older jobs be there? The answer is no. Banking 4.0 will simply mean banking anywhere, everywhere, the way you want to, and every institution will be a bank. Today you have designated institutions. I don't know if you guys are aware that Apple raised deposits. Now Apple is a phone making company. It's a telecommunication company. It is into finance. WhatsApp or a Facebook is a social media company. It's into finance. So every company will enter into finance and it will provide you solution the minute you need it, tailor-make. So this gentleman needs 500 rupees, this gentleman needs 5,000 rupees, he needs it at 12 in the night, he needs it at 6 in the morning. There will be a vendor who is willing to lend you at a particular rate of interest, for a particular period, for particular terms. So this is banking 4.0, where there will be no distinction between a financial institution and a non-financial institution. Every institution will be a financial institution. And your choices of career will determine your employability or your entrepreneurial ability. They are not very different. Most people believe that the skill set for an entrepreneur and the skill set for an employee is very, very different. If you can't create business for your employer is not going to keep you. Which means you have to think out of box to create more revenue, more business for your employer. Whether directly, whether indirectly, and it does not matter whether you are in finance, marketing, sales, PR, whatever field you choose. The bottom line is, how are you contributing to the top line of the company? Very, very simple. The lines are getting diminished between marketing, finance, research, HR. HR is supposed to hire people who can be productive. If a successive employees of a company hired by HR are unproductive, the ability of the HR is under question. So is HR leader responsible for the business? The answer is yes. So employability and entrepreneurship, they both go hand in hand. The only difference is here you are using your time, your abilities, your skills. Here you are using your capital as well. Otherwise, skills are exactly the same. The risk may diminish because of this factor of capital.
Okay. So something on blockchain side of things.
So everybody understands about blockchain. Blockchain broadly is a methodology of sophisticated bookkeeping in privacy, which means any transaction. So today, if I lend something to Satvik, somebody has to notify. There has to be a platform. So either I have to write an IOU, which I will sign, then I have to put a stamp paper, because then it will be it is authentic, and then it will be accepted in the court of law, etc., etc. So what is the platform here? The law of the land. What is that law of the land? Law of the land is the court. When I do a IOU, if there is a bank in between, bank can borrow money in the form of deposits from Satvik and lend me the money. So here the spread is earned by the bank. So this is a physical transaction. In a blockchain transaction, Satvik lends me directly. And there is a bookkeeper virtually who keeps that. That is also known as decentralized finance. That's the world of Web3. So blockchain is basically record keeping of any movement of money or any digital asset which is moving from one place to another, or is being utilized by anyone at any given point in time. So for example, this gentleman is an excellent artist. He paints very, very well. He creates a painting. I click a picture of it. I use that in my presentation. In a physical world, this gentleman can never earn any revenue from it. In a decentralized finance or in blockchains, when I use that picture and he has put it under NFT, non-fungible tokens. So he has created his painting and tagged it. Whenever I use his painting to put in my PPT to showcase, then I have to pay a very notional sum of a fixed amount which he has put on charge. So what blockchains essentially do is sophisticated, quick bookkeeping. It tracks every movement of money. It tracks movement of every digital asset in very, very layman terms. And this is what's going to happen in future. So you're already seeing RBI is pushing for digital currency. And the target is that digital currency will, as of now, not going to supersede, but it will start constituting between 2 to 5% in next few years' time in circulation. They've already piloted it 4 places. Why is RBI, Reserve Bank of India, doing this? The reason is a lot of new assets are not created physically. They are created virtually. How do you keep a track of them? Either you have to then use crypto. The problem with the crypto is there is no backing. Backing means it does not have substance. The people who are issuing crypto, they can get wiped out. We already saw Beyonce, which is the second largest crypto exchange, going bankrupt. So the simple solution to convolute all of this is by using blockchains.
One of the most sought after questions right now is our education system or the culture which has developed around it, is it encouraging us to become corporate slaves? Because the biggest complaint from the industry is that they are not industry trained when they come out. So another kind of effort goes into that before they become, employable.
Very, very simply, if I have to ask all of you, the way you guys eat, the way you guys sleep, the way you guys behave in your houses, has anyone taught you that? The answer is no. You have seen it, and exactly that's what you have picked up. So the social ecosystem subconsciously is training you constantly The work culture, the work also is exactly the same way. What you're learning in schools or in your B schools or through the education system can only help you understand basic concepts. Will it ever encourage you to learn through practicing? Unless you do an internship where you are responsible for the business. So think about it. If I tell you theoretically to start gambling, and if I give you some notes which are fake, we used to have this Monopoly game, right? You can be relatively irrational. As soon as I say that put your only 500 rupees there, what will happen? The scenario will change. Why? Your skin is in the game. If you lose, you're losing the money. That's exactly the same thing when you are in your classroom, because the fee has already been paid. The fee has already been paid. Now, whether you learn, you don't learn, there is no downside to it for the teacher. The teacher may get remarked that 50% failed, passed, etc., but that has no consequence on you learning the skills. Hence, my suggestion to all of you is, whosoever is present here, sooner you should try and take up projects with the industry. Small projects, big projects, does not matter. Preferably projects, preferably things which are related to going on the field. Now that's the toughest part, right? Everybody wants a laptop job, an air-conditioned laptop job. But reality doesn't come from there. How would you learn? Take up any project, even if it is market research, even if it is to understand. What it will teach you? 3 very simple things. When you will go on the field, people will not talk to you the same nice way you are used to at your home and in schools or in colleges, whichever, as in B schools. As soon as you hit the ground, you will learn the art of rejection. That 5 times if you get this rejection, your confidence will become 0. How do you bounce from there? Imagine if you learn this in the project, it's better, right? Because when you will get a job, and if you have to do that job and you are rejected for your proposal or your idea by your superior 5 times, what will happen? There is real money at stake, and you will get dejected. And in a fast track train, people don't care how you're performing. You'll be out. Somebody else will be in. It's better that you learn the art of rejection and self-management of it, self-motivation of it, self-upswing of it by yourself. Because every time there wouldn't be anybody who will say, Beta uth jao. Because when you will get rejected, you will come and remove the anger on your parents. Parents will not be able to understand. So the easiest way is to learn. So that's the first thing that you'll learn. Second thing, you'll learn the art of communication. Generally, we all have a lot of ideas. But when we start presenting those ideas, one idea takes 1 hour to articulate. We cannot remain pointed with our idea. We cannot remain specific with our idea. Nobody in the real world has so much time to listen to you. Bolo kya chahiye? In those 30 seconds, 60 seconds, you have to give an idea. Do you guys know the best startup fundraisers or the best? So you understand which startups get successful? Everybody understands startup, right? The only startups which get successful are the ones who get funding. How do they get the funding? Those guys are expert in what is known as elevator pitch. 180 seconds pitch. Can you give the idea of your business in 180 seconds and make sense to the person who is going to finance it? Millions of dollars. Millions of dollars. By the way, it takes exactly 7 to 8 seconds for your mind to decide whether somebody likes you or somebody doesn't like you. 7 seconds to decide whether I want to work with you or I don't want to work with you. And that 7 seconds is not words. It's your body language, it's your expressions, it's the way you conduct yourself. When you go on the field drenched in the rain, how do you conduct yourself? Because the guy may be sitting in the AC room, you have come drenched. You stink maybe sometimes. How do you conduct yourself then? Are your first 3, 5, 7, 10 words powerful enough to take his attention? Because अगर आपके पहले 5 शब्द ने इम्पैक्ट नहीं किया तो आप करते रहिए 3 घंटा, nothing will matter. So that's the second thing which happens. Third thing, you will start building connections. People pay lakhs of rupees to go and network. When you are starting your career and you are meeting people, and if you remain in touch, you guys are 20, 21, 22, when you'll be 30, those people will also become richer, wealthier. Some way or the other, they may help you. So that networking, you may have the brightest idea, you may have the brightest product to sell, but the gentleman is not giving appointment. He generally doesn't have time. What are you going to do? That's the hard reality of life, right? So these 3 things, if you hit the road, if you hit the field, you will start learning. So do as many. In your 2 years of B school, you should, one is mandatory of 2 months of training, internship, etc., etc. You should do at least 5 to 6. The more you do, the better you will become. And you will not realize how, when you go to exercise, do you realize that one day you have become, you have biceps, triceps, you have become 6-pack? The answer is no. You keep sweating, you keep running, you keep exercising, and slowly, and our friend here can tell. He, in 1 minute, spoke about that he reached Mount Everest. But this is an effort of last 10 years. Sleepless nights, anxiety, challenges, mental pressure, pressure from the home. वो वापस आएगा नहीं आएगा? When he spoke about 20 people not coming back, his family also must be thinking behind. So exactly the same way, when you do some hard work, it will start transforming you without you realizing. If you keep doing it for 3 years, you'll be unimaginable. So request is, stop doing desk job, because desk job can be done from your phone in 1 hour. Start hitting the ground.
So we end the first part with the last question. That is, now, what should we do to tomorrow-proof our skills? Where should we look at? Is it within us? What is the answer? Can you help us?
So what do you mean? What do you mean by, do I know whether the skills which were relevant, what were the most relevant skills in 60s, 70s? Anybody knows? If you look at 90% of the people who would graduate in 80s or 90s, they would start learning typing, dictation. They will quickly shorthand. People used to say shorthand. That skill may not be relevant, but comprehending that quickly, remembering what somebody said, and ensuring that thing is delivered, that still remains relevant. When you practice any skill, that skill may become redundant, but the application of it may change absolutely, and it will still remain relevant. Now, are those skills outside us? The answer is no. Those skills are not outside us. So the first skill which I said, what is the first most relevant skill which anyone should have in life? Is confidence. It's not a skill, it's a mindset. You know everything, but you are not confident. And there is no way somebody can be made confident. The interesting part is 90% of the people who graduate out of IIMs, they don't succeed becoming the CXOs, 90% of them. Why? They may be extremely good. They may be extremely good in studies. But when it comes to presenting their ideas, they may not be. How many IAS officers you know who have been extremely successful? UPSC is very, very limited bunch of people, right? The data is not published. Large number of UPSC people also go through several mental challenges and they take premature retirement. Why so? That's the most elite job, right? IIMs, UPSC, these are the most smartest people. And the same story goes for IITs. Large part of them go outside India. We only see 1 in 1,000 or 1 in 10,000 who heads. What happens to the rest of them? So the problem is your confidence. Remember, the more hungry you are, the more ambitious you are, the more you will drive, the more you will practice, and that will deliver confidence. The more you get into complacency in your comfort zone, that will put your confidence down. Number 2 is communication, which I already said. How do you articulate? How do you communicate? Your behavior is a part of your communication. Your body language is part of your communication. Your empathy, your thought process, your intent, everything is part of your communication. The last, and this is the most important, this is known as company. In whose company you are in. So there's a important thing which Chanakya said. Chanakya said that mind your thoughts. Your thoughts will form words. Mind your words will form your actions. Mind your actions because they will form your habits. Mind your habits because they will form your character. Mind your character because that will form your destiny. How do you get these thoughts? Thoughts are nothing but the bounces or the energy bouts, energy bubbles which come in the brain. And these thoughts emerge from the company of people. In Vedic or in Sanatan Dharma, there is a very important word known as satsang. You do nothing. You do nothing, no rituals, no karma kand, no nothing. Just be in august company. Be in company of good people. Satsang. Because that's the thing which will change your destiny. Because that will make your thoughts.
So now some of our volunteers will come to you, give you a piece of paper, write your questions down. That will come to me. And as told you earlier, I will on my discretion pick those questions relevant to the topic. अभी हम सेकेंड पार्ट पे मूव ऑन कर रहे हैं. ये अभी हिंदी में हम ज़्यादा बात करेंगे. मज़े की बात ये है कि अब जो ये क्वेश्चन है, स्ट्रॉन्ग डेमोक्रेसी, कैन इट इमर्ज फ्रॉम वीक माइंड्स, फ्रॉम बाय वीक माइंड्स, फॉर द वीक माइंड्स. अभी हमारे करंट सिनेरियो, जियोपॉलिटिकल सिनेरियो में दो सबसे मशहूर डेमोक्रेसीज है. एक है यूएसए और एक है इंडिया. यूएसए इज़ इन इट्स डिक्लाइन और वही इंडिया एक उभरती हुई पावर में नज़र आ रही है. अब हम ये भी चीज़ देख रहे हैं कि जो वर्ल्ड इतना ग्लोबलाइज हो चुका है, इसके अंदर हमें ये वोक कल्चर वो डिक्लाइनिंग पावर से एक्सपोर्ट होती हुई दिख रही है बहुत सारी कंट्रीज़ में, बट स्पेशली इंडिया. अब ये एक वीक माइंडसेट की तरह देखी जाती है. हाउ डू वी नेविगेट थ्रू दिस बिग बैटल, वॉर, इशू, जो भी आपको बोलना है, और हम ये स्ट्रॉन्ग डेमोक्रेसी की तरफ बढ़ रहे हैं? क्योंकि जो एक बहुत कॉमन फ्रेज है कि वीक टाइम्स ब्रीड स्ट्रॉन्ग मैन ब्रीड गुड टाइम्स, एंड गुड टाइम्स अगेन ब्रीड वीक मैन, एंड देन वही वापस साइकिल कंटिन्यू होता है. तो बिकॉज इतना ग्लोबलाइज हो चुका है वर्ल्ड, हाउ डू वी इंश्योर कि वो एक डिक्लाइनिंग पावर के चक्कर में हम भी वीक ना पड़ जाए, क्योंकि हमारा तो समय आने वाला है. सो इसमें कैसे आगे देख सकते हैं?
देयर इज अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग सेइंग, एक बहुत बढ़िया कहावत है इंग्लिश में, यू कैन फ्लाई एज हाई, यू कैन फ्लाई एज हाई एज डीप एज योर रूट्स आर। आप उतना ही ऊपर उड़ सकते हैं जितनी आपके जड़ें नीचे तक हैं। जिस दिन आपकी जड़ें छोटी हो गई, कम हो गई, कट गई, आप उड़ेंगे भी तो बहुत शीघ्रता से नीचे की तरफ गिरेंगे।
क्रैश लैंडिंग।
यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स ऑफ अमेरिका की बात करें तो उनका 400 वर्ष का इतिहास है। भारत का 3,500-4 हजार का इतिहास तो लोग मानते हैं, हमारा शायद 1,00,000 वर्ष पुराना इतिहास है। हम तो सतयुग द्वापर युग से बात करते हैं। तो अगर हम अपनी जड़ों को भूलेंगे तो हमको उतनी ही तकलीफ होगी जो आज के दिन में यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स ऑफ अमेरिका में हो रही है। यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स ऑफ अमेरिका के पास क्या नहीं है? वहां शायद पॉवर्टी नहीं है, वहां पे लोग अन्न, अगर आप वहां कभी भी खाना खाने जाएंगे तो आपको वहां पे एक जब पोषण मिलता है, बहुत अत्यधिक पोषण मिलता है। वहां एक प्रचलन है कि अगर आपने 1/4 भोजन नष्ट नहीं किया तो आप स्मार्ट नहीं हैं। वहां पे हर चीज मेगा साइज की मिलती है और लोग जो खाते हैं इसीलिए इतना ज्यादा खाते हैं कि वो इतना ज्यादा खाते हैं कि उनसे उनका मोटापा, उनकी तंदुरुस्ती बढ़ने की जगह कम होती है। आप सबको एक बड़ी सरल सी चीज पता है, हमारे शास्त्रों में, हमारे सनातन धर्म में क्यों बोला गया है कि जो एक बार खाए वो योगी, 2 बार खाए वो भोगी, 2 बार जो खाए वो भोगी, और 3 बार जो खाए वो रोगी। वो क्यों? वो इसलिए है क्योंकि अगर आप अत्यधिक खाते रहेंगे तो आपकी जठर अग्नि जो आपके पेट के अंदर है वो हमेशा उस खाने को पचाने में ही व्यस्त रहेगी। वो कभी ऊपर उठ करके आपके मस्तिष्क तक पहुंचेगी नहीं। आपको सबको पता है कि हमारा ये जो छोटा सा ब्रेन है जो दिखता नहीं है, ये सिर्फ हमारे शरीर का 7 से 9% वेट है। उसका जो भार है 7 से 9% है, लेकिन वो ऊर्जा कितनी खाता है? 30%। लेकिन अगर वो जठर अग्नि हमारे भोजन के पाचन में ही रहेगी तो वो ऊर्जा ऊपर कैसे जाएगी? तो इसलिए सबसे महत्वपूर्ण चीज तो जो यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स के बारे में आपने बोला कि अगर हम अपने पुराने सारे तथ्यों से नहीं सीखेंगे तो होगा क्या? हम कुछ आगे बढ़ेंगे लेकिन फिर हमको पाश्चात्यता नीचे खींच लेगी। हमने देखा कि जब अंग्रेजों ने हमको गुलाम बनाया तो हम में कोई कमी नहीं थी। जब बाहर के लोग, जब इन्वेडर्स आए, आप सोचिए 672 AD से अग्रेशन शुरू हो गया बाहर के लोगों का। 12वीं शताब्दी में पहले उन्होंने कुछ अपना वर्चस्व बना सके, और वो भी इसलिए बना सके क्योंकि उस साल जबरदस्त सूखा पड़ा था। तो प्रॉब्लम क्या है? जैसे जैसे हम अपनी जड़ों को भूलेंगे वैसे वैसे हम कभी भी कुछ भी करेंगे तो उसमें चैलेंज आएगा। एक बड़ा सरल सा उदाहरण देता हूं। वेस्ट में 2 बड़े प्रचलन चल रहे हैं। जो एक इन्होंने शब्द यूज किया सात्विक जी ने, वोगिज्म। उसका अर्थ क्या है? उसका अर्थ बड़ा सिंपल सा है, आप कभी भी कुछ भी बन सकते हैं। ईश्वर ने जब आपको भेजा है तो या तो आप पुरुष हैं या आप नारी हैं। वहां पे अपने विम्स और फैंसीज, जब मेरा मन करता है तो मैं पुरुष हूं, जब मेरा मन करता है तो मैं नारी हूं। तो वहां पे जो लोगों की सोच है वो तक कंफ्यूज हो गई है। और याद रखिए, जीत के लिए बड़ा सिंपल सा एक फॉर्मूला है जो मैं हमेशा पालन करता हूं। ईदर यू हैव क्लैरिटी और कंफ्यूजन, बोथ कैनॉट स्टे टुगेदर। क्लैरिटी लीड्स यू टू सक्सेस, कंफ्यूजन लीड्स यू टू डिक्लाइन। और जब आपको अपने होने पे ही शक है तो आप किसी जगह आप क्या जीतेंगे? दूसरा एक बड़ा प्रचलन, जो दूसरा एक बहुत यूएस में जो एक बहुत तेजी से चल रहा है, एंड दिस हैज बीन प्रोपोगेटेड फॉर लास्ट 300 years. 300 साल से एक सबसे बड़ा एक चीज चलती है वहां पे. That is, so everybody knows about capitalism. You know what is the underlying philosophy of capitalism? Capitalism का सबसे underlying philosophy क्या है? Do your best in your own self-interest. आप अपने बारे में सिर्फ अपने लिए सोच करके सब कुछ कीजिए, क्योंकि सब अपने बारे में सोचते रहेंगे तो कलेक्टिवली सबका उत्थान हो जाएगा. लेकिन इसमें बस एक छोटी सी फ्लॉ है. मैं अपने अच्छे करने के चक्कर में शायद इनके पांव दबा दूं, इनका गला काट दूं, क्योंकि उससे मुझे फायदा हो रहा है. करेक्ट? सो कैपिटलिज्म मीन्स दैट वन इज ऑल राइट टू हार्म समवन एल्स at the expense or at the cost of someone else, because for your self interest. And this is what is causing the biggest challenges. If you think about it, US में पिछले 125 साल में एक भी युद्ध उनकी धरती पर हुआ है? नहीं हुआ है. जितने भी युद्ध हुए हैं 19वीं शताब्दी से अब तक, वो सारे के सारे युद्ध यूएस ने डायरेक्टली या इनडायरेक्टली करवाए हैं. और आज के दिन में यूएस का जो स्वर्ण का कोष है वो विश्व का सबसे ज्यादा स्वर्ण का कोष है. भारत से 10 गुना ज्यादा है. और उन्होंने पता है सबसे ज्यादा वो कब कमाया? जब उनके परम मित्र यूनाइटेड किंगडम दूसरे विश्व युद्ध में जूझ रहे थे, तो वो अपने आर्म्स एम्युनिशन बेच करके स्वर्ण ले रहे थे. वो भारत से स्वर्ण चुरा रहे थे, वो उनसे स्वर्ण चुरा रहे थे. तो यूएस हैज मैक्सिमम रिजर्व्स ऑफ गोल्ड सिंस 1944 ऑनवर्ड्स. दे मेड मैक्सिमम अमाउंट ऑफ गोल्ड एट द एक्सपेंस ऑफ समवन एल्स. हमारा ये अप्रोच नहीं है. सनातन धर्म बोलता है एकात्मिक. हम सब एकांगी हैं. हमारी 5 उंगलियां हैं, पांचों अलग हैं, लेकिन ये हैं एक ही शरीर का भाग. अगर अंगूठे को दर्द होगा तो पूरे शरीर को दर्द होगा. अगर व्यवस्था में किसी को भी चैलेंज है तो हमको चैलेंज होना चाहिए. दिस इज द थिंकिंग विद विच वी स्टार्टेड. बट द प्रॉब्लम इज, अगर ये थिंकिंग हमारी नई जनरेशन जो आप हैं, क्योंकि आप हैं भारत का भविष्य, आप उन 2047 में 2050 में भारत को शीर्ष पर लेकर के जाएंगे. आप लोग भारत की अर्थव्यवस्था को सबसे ऊंची लेकर के जाएंगे. और अगर आप लोग दूसरों के बहकावे में आकर अपनी जड़ें खुद काटनी शुरू कर दी तो बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज है. और इसके लिए माता पिता को रिस्पॉन्सिबल होना, और सिर्फ एक ही तरीका है, प्रेम से. सो फॉर पेरेंट्स दिस इज द सिंपल. There is no pressure, there is no fear which can work. The only thing, so there in humans there are only 2 primary emotions. Everything emanates from there. सिर्फ मनुष्यों में 2 ही प्रकार के इमोशंस होते हैं, बाकी द्वेष, घृणा, सब कुछ इन्हीं दोनों का आउटकम है. One is love, one is fear. एक है भय, एक है प्रेम. तो जब तक हम अगर इस प्रेम से काम नहीं करेंगे, चैलेंज होगा. सो द पॉइंट आई एम ट्राइंग टू मेक हियर, अगेन आई एम रीआइटरेटिंग दिस, इज द इंडियाज डेमोक्रेसी सक्सेस कैन ओनली सक्सीड इफ वी रिमेन grounded and connected with our roots. Because remember, the only people who would undisputedly, with no conditions, with no questions, will accept whatever you are doing is your mother and father. Nobody else. And the day we start getting disconnected from them, our decline is certain. The US, one of the biggest reasons why their decline is there is from the time they are 14 years old, parents push them out. When they are out, they are influenced by the external environment. When they are influenced by the external environment, they cannot judge what is right, what is wrong. Hence, under no circumstance you should ever, irrespective of whatever you want, you should never disgrace your parents. Because doing that will never yield success. The simplest example of being is Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos is one of the richest, most famous personalities, right? One of the richest guys. He started working very, very hard when he started Amazon. He started Amazon in late 30s. He made tons of money. He was very happy with his wife. At the age of 57, 58, they got separated. His unhappiness started. He became non-executive chairman of Amazon. So your happiness may not be directly, it is very much linked to money. I'm no way saying आप लोगों को पैसा कमाना चाहिए, बहुत पैसा कमाना चाहिए, लेकिन आपकी प्रसन्नता और आपके पैसे का डायरेक्ट कोरिलेशन नहीं है. अगर वो डायरेक्ट कोरिलेशन होता तो वेस्टर्न वर्ल्ड में सारे के सारे लोग अरबपति, खरबपति बड़े संतुष्ट होते. एक सिंपल सा उदाहरण पकड़िए. वर्जिन एटलांटिक वाले सज्जन जाते हैं स्पेस में, उनको हिरस करके अमेज़न के 4 दिन के अंदर वो टच करके आते. वो अमेज़न का स्पेस program was going on for so many days, but as soon as British Virgin Atlantic chap went to the US, immediately Amazon promoter also wanted to go. Which means what? You're not happy with what you have. You want to prove to the world that I can also do it. Are you doing it for showing someone else, or are you doing it for your own happiness? अगर जिस कार्य में अगर आपको ही आनंद नहीं आ रहा है, उस कार्य को करके क्या फायदा?
So we'll quickly go through the last 2 questions. One is, what is the biggest threat to our upcoming strong democracy? Is it our own people? Who is the real enemy? हमारे अंदर है कि बाहर है?
आप लोग सबको रामायण पता है. आप लोग सबको पता है कि शूरपणखा की नाक काटी वो गई. आपको पता है शूरपणखा के जो पतिदेव हैं, उनका वध उनके भाई ने किया था. उससे और रावण को कोई नहीं मार सकता था उस वक्त. तो इसलिए उनको ये सारा षड्यंत्र रचाना पड़ा कि भगवान राम आए और उसका नाश करें. उसी प्रकार द्रौपदी का जो पूरी महाभारत की संरचना हुई, वो इसलिए हुई क्योंकि किसी को तो, और पूरी जो संरचना हुई वो किसने की? द्रौपदी ने की नहीं, शकुनी ने की. आप सबको पता है. और शकुनी ने क्यों की? क्योंकि कुरु वंश का कोई नाश कर सकता था तो वो स्वयं कुरु वंश के वंशज ही कर सकते थे. तो आपका नाश कौन कर सकता है? आप स्वयं. बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग है, जिस भी चीज में तुरंत आनंद मिले, तुरंत करने से तुरंत आनंद मिले, वो विनाश के लिए आपको अग्रसर कर रही है या कर रहा है या हो रहे हैं आप. जिसमें आपको अभी कष्ट मिले, थोड़े समय तक कष्ट मिलता रहे, उसमें आपका अच्छा होना निश्चित है. बड़ी सरल सी चीज है. आप बहुत ज्यादा मीठा खाइए, आप कितनी भी आयु के होंगे, 22 साल के होंगे, 25 साल के होंगे, डायबिटीज हो जाएगी. तुरंत आनंद आता है, तुरंत झटका आता है. तो ये सबसे, तो हमारे अंदर जो रावण है, जो हमारे अंदर जो दुर्योधन है, और बाय द वे दुर्योधन स्वयं बोलते हैं, मुझे पता है मैं सही नहीं कर रहा हूं, लेकिन मैं खुद से विवश हूं. वो श्री कृष्ण, उन्होंने देखा कि श्री कृष्ण ने वध किया था, उसके सामने वध किया था, फिर भी वो जंजीरों में उनको जकड़ने की कोशिश कर रहा है. जब उन्होंने संधि के लिए आए, श्री कृष्ण आए, वो मना कर सकता था, लेकिन उसने उनको जंजीरों में जकड़ने की कोशिश की, जबकि वो जानते हैं कि वो महापुरुष हैं, वो देव हैं, वो भगवान हैं. उसके बावजूद उसी प्रकार हमको पता है, लेकिन हम खुद, जब हम कभी भी सोशल मीडिया, दो तरह की तलवार है, या तो हम कंज्यूम करेंगे या उसमें हम इनपुट करेंगे। अगर आप सोचिए, किसी ने अगर आपकी सोशल मीडिया पोस्ट को 10 बार लाइक किया, आपको जनरली आते हैं 500 लाइक्स, और आपको आए 10 लाइक्स, तो आपको थोड़ा सा दुखी फील होगा। ये महत्वपूर्ण है? नहीं है। उसी प्रकार अगर वो कोई 750 आ गए, तो आप ये सोचने की कोशिश करेंगे कि ये क्यों आए, मैं हर में 750 आने चाहिए। वो महत्वपूर्ण है? नहीं। सोशल मीडिया में आप अपना विचार रखिए, वो महत्वपूर्ण है। उसके बाद क्या आउटकम आ रहा है, वो महत्वपूर्ण नहीं है। श्री कृष्ण क्या कहते हैं? सुख दुखे लाभा लाभो जया जयो ततो युद्धाय युजस्व नैवम पापम अवप्यसी। अर्थात आप जब बिना सुख दुख के, बिना लाभ के कुछ कार्य करेंगे, तो आप उसका फल एक तो आपको नहीं मिलेगा, उसका अगर कुछ पाप भी होता है तो वो पाप आपके सर नहीं लगेगा। तो आप हर कार्य को ऐसा करें, कोशिश करें, प्रयत्न करें कि एक तो किसी चीज में आप घुस नहीं जाएं बहुत ज्यादा। सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज क्या होता है? हम एक बार फोन पकड़ लिया तो कुछ घंटे चले गए, पता ही नहीं चला। और हम क्या कर रहे हैं? हम दूसरे के टारगेट बन रहे हैं। हमको चाहिए कि हम दूसरों को टारगेट बनाएं, हम बन रहे हैं किसी दूसरे के टारगेट। और आप लोग के सबके पास एक ही चीज है जो सीमित है, समय। और समय कैसे उसका सदुपयोग करें, क्योंकि आप जैसे ही अपने समय पे डीफोकस्ड हुए, आपका पतन शुरू है। हेंस व्हाट इज वेरी वेरी क्रिटिकल इज डिसिप्लिन। होता क्या है, आप लोग अभी यहां से सुनेंगे। सो देयर इज वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग कॉन्सेप्ट इन साइकोलॉजी, इंटेंसिटी और कंसिस्टेंसी। ह्यूमन साइकोलॉजी में एक बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग चीज है, कंसिस्टेंसी और इंटेंसिटी। whenever you listen to any motivational talk, you get excited, करना है, अब करेंगे। 3 दिन 5 दिन बाहर पसीना आया, धूप निकली, वहां बारिश हुई, घर की चिल्लपों हुई, आसपास की ऑटो की, इसकी ट्रेन की, सबकी चिल्लपों हुई, आपका सारा मोटिवेशन शून्य। फिर वापस वही। सो इफ यू कांट चेंज that regular practice and move into the next orbit, you will never be successful. People who are successful, they cut the noise. अगर आपको 5 लोग, आप चल रहे हैं, 5 लोग आपको गाली देते हुए जा रहे हैं, you will feel bad. Why? Let them say. किसी ने आपकी बाइक के सामने आकर के आंख दिखाई, हूल दिखाई, you guys get perturbed. Why? Let it go. Winning that fight is important, or your mental peace is important. And if your mental peace is there, you can win long and larger battles. But the problem is, we are spending our energy doing things, fighting things which are inconsequential. जैसे दुर्योधन ने 5 गांव नहीं दिए, उसके पास हस्तिनापुर और इंद्रप्रस्थ दोनों थे, उसके बावजूद उसको 5 गांव देने में, was it essential for him? The answer is no. Remember, there is a very simple thing, and this is applicable for adults as well. हम लोग जो बुजुर्ग लोग हैं, वो इस चीज को हमेशा मानना चाहिए, मैं कोशिश करता हूं करने की। 91-1 प्रिंसिपल, 91-1 प्रिंसिपल। 1% leakage will always happen. Whether it is money, whether it is pain, whether it is fight, 1% leakage will always happen. That is the price which you pay for peace. And if you are willing to pay that price for peace, your 99% of the things will excel. And when they will become fantastic, you will become successful. Stop wasting your time on those 1%, because those 1%, last 1%, we waste maximum amount of time. And that is unproductive.
So true. So can we go very quick, because we have less time for Q&A. The last question that I really wanted to highlight, that's why I'm asking, what can the youth learn? Hindi में जवाब देना है, but हम यूथ क्या सीख सकते हैं हमारी लास्ट 3 साल की जो देश की लीडरशिप रही है, स्पेशली इन द टर्म्स की कोविड से लेके वैक्सीन अनसर्टनिटी से लेके रशिया यूक्रेन वॉर तक, और अभी भी जो कंसिस्टेंटली इनसाइड एंड आउटसाइड जो हमारे पे अटैक्स होते हैं, तो इन सब को साथ में लेते हुए मिलिटरली एंड इकोनॉमिकली हाउ इंडिया हैज स्टिल केप्ट देयर रेजिलियंस अप, इसमें से हम यूथ क्या सीख सकते हैं?
ऑलवेज लुक फॉर थिंग्स, हमेशा ऐसे चीजों पे देखिए जो आपके साथ ज्यादा लोगों का फायदा करा सकती है। जब प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कोविड वैक्सीनेशन का और स्वदेशी वैक्सीनेशन का और फ्री वैक्सीनेशन का जब एक निर्णय लिया, व्हाट वाज द इंटेंट? देयर वाज सो मेनी प्रेशर्स फ्रॉम फाइजर, फ्रॉम ऑल द ग्लोबल ब्रांड्स, उनका बहुत उनके, लेकिन सोच बड़ी सरल सी थी, ज्यादा से ज्यादा लोगों के लिए और ज्यादा से ज्यादा लोगों तक ये फायदा पहुंचना चाहिए। एक चीज गांधी जी के इसमें इंटरेस्टिंग है, वो बोलते थे, इफ यू आर एवर कंफ्यूज्ड whether your decision is right or wrong, always think about the last man standing, the weakest, the poorest, he should benefit from your decision. तो ये आप लोग को हमेशा सोचना चाहिए कि आपका निर्णय आपके लिए हमेशा फायदेमंद होना चाहिए, लेकिन बाकियों के लिए वो फायदेमंद है कि नहीं है। अगर नहीं है तो कहीं ना कहीं आप आगे चल के गलत होंगे, सबसे पहली चीज। दूसरी चीज जो हम सीख सकते हैं, जो अभी है, डोंट बी इन अ हरी टू टेक अ स्टांस ऑफ एक्सट्रीम्स। हमने अभी देखा कि मोदी जी ने जब युद्ध शुरू हुआ तो रशिया के साथ भी वो बात कर रहे थे, सऊदी अरेबिया के साथ भी बात कर रहे थे, चाइना के साथ भी बात कर रहे थे, यूएस के साथ भी बात कर रहे थे। यूएस ने बहुत प्रेशर डाला कि आप रशिया से क्यों बात कर रहे हैं, आप रशिया से क्यों तेल ले रहे हैं। लेकिन हमको कोई भी एक्सट्रीम स्टांस नहीं लेना है जिंदगी में। तो श्री कृष्ण हमेशा बोलते हैं कि, और गीता में बोलते हैं, अनेकों बार बोलते हैं, जब बहुत आप हर्षो उल्लास से हैं, उत्साहित हैं या बहुत दुखी हैं, तो कभी वचन या इन इंग्लिश टर्म्स प्रॉमिस मत कीजिए किसी भी चीज को।
स्टे स्टोइक।
जब भी आप बहुत ज्यादा एक्सट्रीम इमोशंस के थ्रू हैं, चाहे बहुत प्रसन्न हैं या बहुत दुखी हैं, तो कभी भी कोई प्रॉमिस या वचन मत कीजिए, और उस वक्त हो सके तो चुप रहिए, क्योंकि दोनों इमोशंस में आपके जो वचन निकलेंगे वो बहुत ज्यादा बैकफायर कर सकते हैं। तो वो एक स्टेट ऑफ न्यूट्रलिटी बहुत जरूरी है। तीसरा चीज, घबराइए मत कुछ अलग करने से। जो पहले की हमारी सत्ताएं और पहले हमारे जो सारे पॉलिटिशियंस थे, उनकी सोच और मोदी जी की सोच में क्या अंतर है? ही इज नॉट अफ्रेड ऑफ डूइंग थिंग्स विच पीपल विल जनरली नॉट डू इट। चाहे वो डीमोनेटाइजेशन था, चाहे वो डिजिटाइजेशन था, चाहे वो जनधन था। और जब आप वो कुछ अलग कर रहे हैं तो ये सोचिए कि आप बड़ा कितना कर सकते हैं। तो पहले तो अपनी सोच को सीमित या सूक्ष्म मत रखिए। हम सोचते हैं, हम अमीर बनने की सब सोचते हैं, यहां पे बच्चे जितने भी हैं अच्छी जॉब करने की सोचते हैं, लक्ष्य भी है कि अच्छा जॉब मिलना चाहिए, और हम ये भी सोचते हैं हम आगे हम प्रोग्रेस करें। लेकिन हम जब सोचेंगे कि अगले 10 साल में मेरी सैलरी 20, 25, 30 लाख हो जाए तो अच्छा है, हम ये क्यों नहीं सोच सकते कि मेरी नेटवर्थ अगले 10 साल में 100 करोड़ हो? कम से कम सोचना तो शुरू कीजिए। जब सोचेंगे तो आपके अंदर ईश्वर कुछ ऐसी आइडियाज, ऐसे विचार, ऐसी सेटिंग करेंगे, और ईश्वर करेंगे, ना आप कर सकते हैं ना मैं कर सकता हूं, कि आप खुद ही वहां बढ़ेंगे। लेकिन आपकी सोच पक्की है। एंड वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट प्रॉब्लम्स विच पीपल हैव एंड विच आई कॉन्स्टेंटली सी, पीपल कीप चेंजिंग देयर गोल पोस्ट। हर तीसरे दिन, हर एक हफ्ते, हर एक महीने, हर एक साल आपका गोल पोस्ट समझते हैं सब लोग, गोल पोस्ट चेंज होता रहता है। आज मुझे ये चाहिए, कल दूसरा कुछ चाहिए, तीसरे को देख लिया तो तीसरा चाहिए, चौथे को देख लिया तो चौथा चाहिए। आपको यही नहीं पता है कि कहां आपको गोल को डालना है, क्योंकि आपका तो गोल पोस्ट चेंज हो रहा है। कम से कम आप एक निर्णय तो रखिए कि मुझे इस लक्ष्य तक पहुंचना है, और बाकी ईश्वर को करने दीजिए। आप अपना कार्य कीजिए और आप पहुंचेंगे। लेकिन हमारी अगर सोच ही सीमित होगी तो फिर तो चैलेंज है।
So that's the end of our conversation. But now we move on to the Q&A from the audience among us. First question, which even comes in my mind is, as you gave an example of ChatGPT, do you think it's stopping youngster to think about any particular topic? Because now they just simply type the question, they prompt it, and they get the result. So is it going to, limit the thinking capacity going ahead?
So it's very individualistic. There were earlier people who used to do cut, copy, paste. So ChatGPT is a modernized version of it. Earlier also plagiarism was there. Today this is modern plagiarism. But people who want to write, ChatGPT is essentially to give answers, to write, to enable your writing. Today there is something known as your Grammarly. I'm sure some of you may be using it. Now, if you write your text, check your grammar with it. That makes sense. Because you don't need to be expert in all languages, right? Your thinking has to be clear. By the way, India is only one of the few places in the world where people generally know more than one language. If you go to any of the Western countries, mostly they know only one language, which is English. Or their mother language, which is Spanish or French or German. They would not know the second language. In India, almost 99.9% people know at least two languages, if not more. At least two. Almost 50 to 60% know three languages or more. Some of you, आप लोग सबको हिंदी आती है, इंग्लिश आती है, मराठी आती है, कम से कम. और जो आ ज़्यादा. Language develops your brain. Now, if you don't use your brains, and if you constantly remain with cut, copying, paste, which is the modern chat GPT, you can score marks. How would you score marks in your life? That's a call which you have to think.
The next question is, why are the Indians going outside the country, and especially medical students? So because there's such a इतनी कमी है medical doctors की, तो इसमें ये क्या कर सकते हैं आगे हम?
So Britishers created this law that for every medical school you need a very large campus, some 50, 60 acres, I don't remember the numbers, but exact specification is very, very harsh. For 150 students, you need 180 faculty, people who are assisting. It does not make economic sense. So why medical students are going outside? Because the cost of medicine or the cost of medical education in India is mind-blowing. It's per year, it is closer to 70, 80 lakhs, 5 years. And then another 4 years or another 3 years for post-graduation. You're talking about whooping 7, 8 crores. From where the hell a common Indian is going to bring that money? The government has increased the number of medical colleges, but still we are falling short. And still the medical colleges are not opened in the remotest cities or in the remotest towns because of this infrastructure constraint. So until and unless this law which prohibits the propping up of the medical colleges happen, this brain drain will continue to happen. Why do you think engineers all study in India and then after that they go outside? Why don't engineers go? Exactly the difference. Because engineering education or the B school education is not so expensive. So it's all about economics finally. जहाँ पे अर्थ लोग समझेंगे नहीं, अर्थ means money, people unless they make education is important, but education also should make economic sense for the people who are running it. So that's what it is.
Okay. One of the interesting questions here is, what are the drawbacks according to you in the skill learning process provided by AI?
So there are multiple courses which are there in the in AI. So first thing is, AI teaches you, whatever courses exist, they only make you data scientist. right? So what they are trying to teach you is how do you read the data, how do you interpret the data, and how do you program using that interpretation. That's where it is. Is it enabling your softer skills? The answer is no. So what they are trying to make is sophisticated humanoids who will not think. आप लोग को याद है एक समय था जब इंडिया में पूरी दुनिया की प्रोग्रामिंग, बैक एंड प्रोग्रामिंग इंडिया से होती थी. Now, the AI, or there are tools which will do the programming. You can put your input, what you need. You can put the codes and basic codes, and then the tool itself will program, create the codes, etc. Which means all the coders which existed are going to be redundant. This is what the AI is teaching you to only become data scientist. They are training you to become humanoids. You have to remain humans, which means you have to learn the art of interaction, you have to learn the art of persuasion, you have to learn the art of bouncing back from rejection, so and so forth. Presentation, everything. Now, unless you learn those skills, and those skills are not being combined with AI or data scientist, and that's the flaw which I believe exists everywhere.
So I think this is somewhere similar to the next question, where why we only talk about employment or jobs but not businesses. So
we all understand that, right? Industry 1.0, Industry 2.0, Industry 3.0, they have only created corporate slaves.
So the whole system has
So the whole
catered to
system
that.
wants you to keep working for someone else, so that someone else can make more money than you, obviously. But it's fine. There's no harm in it. We are a very large population, 142, right? 142 crores. So what you should do? Very simple. Learn, save, and then start your own business. You don't have to, don't learn at the cost of your own money. Because if you don't know anything and if you start the business, if you fail, you are losing, right? Learn 3 years, 5 years, 6 years. Build connections, what I told you initially, three points if you remember. Communication, connections, and confidence. So if you join anywhere, keep your target 5 years, 6 years. This is the amount of savings I need to generate. I should not spend unnecessarily. I should not listen to the car ads, beautiful cars, beautiful things which I don't need. I can still travel in an auto. I can still travel, even if I earn money, I can still travel in the Kali Pili, or I can take an Uber. Why should I buy any depreciating asset? I should only buy appreciating assets. Is there a point I should have 20 shirts? The answer is no. Can I enjoy with 3 shirts, 4 shirts? The answer is yes. If I am looking smart, why? Because I'm breathing, I'm exercising well, my breathing is better, etc., etc., etc. So you don't look good because of your clothes, you look good because of who you are.
But we are pushed into this consumerism mentality.
And that's where you have to avoid. Because remember, if you keep spending your money on things which you don't need, you will not have enough money for buying the things which you need and for chasing your dreams. And you'll remain a corporate slave for life. So what do you need to do? Make a target. This is the day I'm going to quit. From today, in 6 years, 5 years. Start saving money from day 1. Start learning more. Even at the same salary, can you do 3 more jobs in the same office where you're working? People are becoming lazy. So can you do their job? Because if you do their job, you will learn more. This will be helpful. Your growth will be faster. Your remuneration will go up. Your bonuses will go up. Bingo, you will quit quickly. Then you can build your business. So learn at the expense of others. But have a dream of starting your own business and becoming a billionaire. Because money in good hands can do a lot of good. Money in evil hands can create a lot of evil.
So with that, I mean, the kind of answer you just gave, I think it's the best way to end the session now. Thank you so much everyone for patiently listening to us, and I'm so sorry if I couldn't take your question. Thank you so much. धन्यवाद.
Thank you.